Good day, subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Levi. This is the Cybersecurity Education channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Today I'm going to be talking about home network tips that you can do to secure yourself in 2019. If you don't have a secure network at your home, somebody from out on the internet can connect into your home network and compromise your whole network, stealing information from you, potentially committing identity theft, potentially committing fraud against you, or potentially sending out personal data about you that you don't want the world to know. So you really need to secure your home network. And then not only can it come from the internet side of things, it can also come from people that are close to your area that can pick up your wireless network. So you really want to secure that as well. So today I'll be giving you tips on how to secure your network so that you can help prevent those situations from happening to you. So the number one step that you can take in 2019 to help protect your home network is to never set up an open wireless network. If you have an open wireless network set up, people can just go ahead and connect into your network at your place without entering a password to get in. And the reason this is super bad is because people can use a bunch of bandwidth. If you're paying for how much data you're using, then people can steal that data, and you can have massive charges because of that. Not only that, if somebody does something malicious on your connection and they do like something that has a copyright claim on it or something illegal, you could be responsible for it since it was on your connection. So never have an open Wi-Fi network. You really want to be using WPA2, and if you're watching this video in the future, you want to be using WPA3. And those are types of encryption where you can enter a password in to connect to your wireless network. The number two action that you can take in 2019 to secure your home network is to never use WEP encryption for your wireless password. It's an old security standard. It's super easy to break that encryption and access your devices. It's almost as bad as having your network open. Anybody that has any technical knowledge at all can break into your home network using WEP encryption. So if you have WEP encryption, either upgrade your router or change your router so that you're using WPA2 or WPA3. Step number three that you can take to secure your home network in 2019, go ahead and change your home router password. Don't leave the default one on there. And also you want to change your default Wi-Fi password. If you're not sure how to do that, look up the brand name of your router, and you can just type that in on Google, and it'll tell you how. By looking that up, it'll tell you what the default password is and the default username, and there'll be an address that you go to get into that router and type in your username and password so that you can change that. And you should be able to find that address too. Usually it's like 192.168.0.1 or something like that. And you really want to change those because you don't want somebody else to get into your network because you had a default password and they were able to look it up and get in. And then if they're able to get into that, they can get into your router itself and change the settings because you had a default password on the router itself too, the management console. So go ahead and make sure you change both of those. Step number four, once you get inside of your router, if you can set up a guest network on there, I highly advise doing that. That will isolate the traffic so that your traffic isn't touching your guest traffic that's connecting into there. And it's less likely, and it's unlikely for guests that come in to see traffic that you're sending out. If you happen to be broadcasting out a computer where other people on your network can see pictures, your guests won't see that. And then you won't accidentally transmit information that you might not want your guests coming to see. The number five action that you should take is when you go and change your Wi-Fi password from the default, you should set it to something very strong, at least 15 characters or longer. Use 20 characters or longer if you can. The longer the password, the better. I've talked about this in previous videos. It's not about how complex your password is. It's really about the length of your password. Of course, you want complexity in there as well, but you want it long. I highly suggest using a sentence with some numbers and some letters at the side of there. Sentences are really the best way that you can set passwords these days. Step number six that you can do to protect your home network, make sure that the firewall is turned on your router. And basically the firewall is one of the most critical things that you can have on your router. If you don't have one, you need to figure out what you can do to get a firewall into your network. Most home routers have a firewall built into them. Once you're in the management console, you can go and check that. All right, so from this picture, here's your firewall here, and I kind of want to explain why the firewall is so critical. Your firewall is in between your home devices, so like let's say your computer and your phone at home here are connected to your home network. This is your router / your firewall. And so this firewall sits in between your devices and the internet out here. And any internet traffic that's coming in to try to get into your devices, the firewall blocks it. The only way that traffic can get from your devices out to the internet and then back to your devices is if your devices create that traffic to start. If I stream a video on YouTube from my computer here, my computer sends a request out to the internet, which would be Google in this case, since YouTube owns Google owns YouTube. And Google will send me a response back with the data. But the only reason that data is coming back is because my computer requested that. If my computer didn't request that, if Google just decided to send stuff to my computer and it didn't request it, the firewall will block it. And that's the benefit of a firewall, is any request coming from the internet to try to get into my network, to a computer or a phone on my network, the firewall will block it if these devices didn't request it. So it's absolutely essential that you have a firewall set up so that some malicious person can't go and say, hey, I want to hack into this guy's computer and then send some malicious traffic across your network over here. The firewall's going to say, hey, we're not going to allow that through, sorry. So the firewall is one of the most critical things that you can have set up on your home network, and you need to make sure that you have it turned on. Step number 7 that you can do to secure your home network, make sure that you change the default name on your wireless. So when you're in the management panel for your router, go ahead and change your name from whatever it is to something else. Don't change it to something personal though. Don't change it to your last name. If somebody's in the area, they can see it, makes it easier for them to detect, hey, John Doe lives here. I don't like John Doe, so I'm going to attack his wireless network and try to break in. And you don't want to use the default name, because a lot of the routers, it's easy to figure out what model they are by the default name, and it makes it easier for somebody to break into that model. Step number 9 that you can take is to change the IP address on your router. And the reason you want to do this is it makes another situation where it makes it harder for somebody to break into your device, or if they break into your device, they have to try hard to get to the management console to do anything if it's a different IP address than the default one. The IP address is how you get to the management console and change all the settings, what you would have learned earlier if you have that set up to change other things. Step number 11 that you can do to help secure your home network, make sure that you're getting the latest firmware updates for your router. There are security vulnerabilities out there all the time for those devices, and if you don't have the latest firmware updates, somebody from the internet can scan the internet for the security problems. If your device doesn't have the problem fixed, they can use that problem to break into your network and access everything, even if you have a firewall in that situation. So you always want to make sure that your firmware is up to date on your router. I suggest doing it once a month. And the same thing, you can Google how to do that based off of what your model is. The next step is you should disable remote access to your management console. So you don't want to be able to manage your router from any place but on your own home network. You want to disable that because somebody could abuse that, and it makes it easier for somebody remotely to break into your network that way. So turn that off. Disable remote access. The next thing that you can do is disable WPS. Basically, this allows you to go ahead and press a button on your router that automatically allows whoever's trying to connect to it at the time to get in without having to enter a password or anything like that, or they might have to enter a PIN, but that's it. It makes it easier to connect to your network, but there's vulnerabilities in there that could also cause problems and make it way easier for a criminal to be able to break into your network. So turn WDS off. So another point I would like to make is, just because if you have your Wi-Fi set to be hidden, it's not actually hidden. Somebody can scan for Wi-Fi networks and see the hidden Wi-Fi network. Anybody that has any technical knowledge can do this. So don't assume because your Wi-Fi is hidden that people can't see your Wi-Fi. People can still scan for it. So don't do something stupid like not set a password because your Wi-Fi is hidden. Oh, nobody's gonna see it. They still can see it, and don't set a shitty password either because you think it's hidden. And then finally, the last thing to help protect your home network is to be careful with TVs and printers and devices that when you first go to set them up, they broadcast out their own wireless network so that you can help connect your devices into them, like a laptop or something like that. With a printer, a lot of times the printer will broadcast out its own wireless network so that it can connect to your home wireless network or your laptop. And if you let a new printer sit there and do that, somebody might be able, next door, or one of your neighbors might be able to connect to your printer and print out a bunch of crap and waste your ink and toner, right? So you want to make sure that you have those wireless devices turned off or connected, and not just having them sitting there broadcasting out a network that anybody can connect into. I know there was a lot of steps here, but I really wanted to get you all the information that you guys could do to help protect your home network. I hope you guys really enjoyed this content, and I hope it helps you guys a lot. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a great day.